Stop waiting your turn at work. Stop waiting on your boss to retire. Stop waiting till the spring. Stop waiting until you finish your degree or complete this certification. Too often, I see high achieving professional women waiting their turn at work. And it is one of the things that I truly believe is a severe detriment to women excelling in their work. There's this constant waiting. There's this constant pausing. There's this constant as soon as, and this waiting your turn, I think actually plays into feelings and doubts around self-worth and self-value. And it perpetuates that you're not good enough now. You don't have enough now. And you have to wait till some other time, some other intervention to actually do good and meaningful work. And so I'm Ashley. I'm the lead mentor with Mentor Me, and I'm here to talk about why it's important to stop waiting your turn at work and to talk to you about some other strategies you might implement in your life and your career to really be intentional about taking action. So I want to talk about this from the perspective of the new year, right? It's new year, maybe new you. You have a lot of energy around the new year, and maybe you were waiting, right? You were waiting for the new year to actually happen. You were waiting on January 1st so that you could say, this year is going to be different, right? This year, I'm going to do something different. This year, I'm really focused on my career. I'm going to make more money. I'm going to find a new job. I'm going to switch things up. This is my year, right? And so if that's you, if that's where you've been waiting your turn, this is your year and it's now your turn. I want to kind of talk about how you can take that same mindset and have it continue to delay you even across this year, even when this is the year that you said was your turn, how you can start to fall into other waiting traps that will prevent you from being successful. And one of these said, so far, a great conversation. I'm glad to hear it. And I'm glad this is maybe one that is timely for you. And just put a 1 in the chat, whether you're watching this on live or you're watching the YouTube replay, if this is a timely conversation for you. If you are constantly the type of professional who's waiting your turn, you're waiting, until your boss says you can do it. You're waiting to get permission. You're waiting for your budget to get improved. You're waiting for the kids to graduate. You're waiting for your husband to finish his degree, right? If you constantly find yourself waiting your turn in your career, just put a 1 in the chat. I want to know if this is something that resonates with you. I want to know if this is something that you can really relate to. And so if you constantly find yourself in a place of waiting, let me talk first about where that comes from. So I think that, honestly, it comes from education, right? I think so much of our education, elementary education, middle school, high school, they're teaching us how to fall in line with the patriarchy. They're teaching us how to wait in lines. They're teaching us how to wait our turn. We have to raise our hand. Even when we're experts, even when we know the answer, we're not supposed to blurt it out loud. We're supposed to patiently wait our turn, until, it's our time to go, right? And I get that, right? We need order in spaces. We can't just all be talking at the same time. But sometimes we take the elementary lessons, right, that we learned in, K through 12, and we apply them to our everyday lives and our careers. And I think that that's where the mistake is. Because yes, maybe in K through 12, you needed to wait your turn. Maybe in K through 12, you need to raise your hand before speaking. Maybe in K through 12, you need to ask permission to go to the bathroom. Maybe in K through 12, you needed to, wait to get permission from a higher up to take action on something that you wanted to do. But we are in the big leagues now. We're big grown people. We have high school diplomas. We have college degrees. Some of us have master's degrees, advanced degrees, right? We are big grown people, and no longer, right, do we have to wait our turn. No longer do we have to hope and pray that someone will give us permission to advance our careers in the ways that we desire. And what's true is we have permission, right? In ourselves. If you're a believer from God, you have permission from me, right? If you were waiting for some permission, if you were waiting your turn, this is like me tapping the screen right now. It's a permission that I hope releases you and unlocks you from waiting your turn at work. So, right, you have permission, right? You have permission. The things that you want, the things that you desire for your career, you have permission to do. So you can stop waiting your turn. It's time to release those elementary applications to our life and actually really move into some applied strategy in our work, right? We don't have to wait anymore. We don't have to wait our turn. And, I think that some of the places where women find themselves waiting the most, I think the number one place is they're waiting on their family, right? So often I see high achieving women saying, well, as soon as the kids, graduate, or as soon as my son goes, to daycare full time, or as soon as, I'm, finished, providing primary care for my mom in her elderly years, as soon as my partner, finishes school, then it'll be my turn. And then I can do the things I want to do. I can advance my career. I can, do the things that are important to me. I can hire a mentor. I can actually get help in my career, right? So we're often waiting on family members. It's our children, it's our aging parents, it's our partners. We're waiting on our turn, right? And let me know if this resonates. Michelle said she loves this, right? Let me just throw some hearts up on the screen if this resonates. If you have found yourself over the last 2 years, over the last 5 years, waiting your turn with your family members, you're waiting on your partner to finish what they're doing so you can advance your career. You're waiting on your kids to grow up or get in a certain age, or finish applying to college before you can advance your career. I often see very, very many high achieving women waiting their turn and waiting, to allow family members to advance. And, I'll share some full transparency here. I don't have any children, right? I'm not a parent. I've been married for about 6 months, so I'm new to that role. I have lots of siblings. I have lots of sisters and brothers. I have a father, an aging parent, but I don't have to provide day-to-day care for him. So, I want to be transparent about my own life situation and my own life circumstance to say that there are certainly some nuances as it relates to some of this waiting on family that I may not understand because I don't have those kinds of responsibilities. However, what I often see is that high achieving professional women are waiting their turn and their turn never comes, right? Their turn never comes. Your partner is like, you're waiting on your partner to finish school before you advance your career. Only your partner, is still in school and they delayed their graduation and they took some time off and you're still not advancing your career. And you're waiting for your kids to, get a little older before you advance your career. Only you didn't realize now that your kids are older, they're in more activities. And now you're not just a parent, but you're also a taxi cab, right? And then you're caring for an aging parent and you're like, well, I need to wait, to advance my career because I'm, providing so much care to mom right now. Only the cost of mom's care keeps rising, but your salary does not, right? And so you're waiting your turn. You're waiting for family members to transition over. You're waiting for, new things to happen with your family, your partner, or your kids, or your auntie, or your sister, or your cousin. You're waiting on them and your turn never comes, right? Lady Hawk said 100%, right? And if this is something you can resonate with, again, just to put a 1 in the chat. I just want to make sure this is resonating. This is because this is what I see day in and day out with the women that I serve. But I want to make sure that this is resonating with the folks who are watching right now as well. Michelle said, yes, always putting other people's happiness first, right? And I think that one of the things, that this boils down to is people pleasing, right? And I serve a lot of women who are people pleasers and, they want to please other people. They want to make sure other people are happy. They don't want to disappoint anyone. But here's the thing I will tell you. If you're a people pleaser, that's who you are. That's how you are. I'm not saying you forget other people, put yourself first. I'm not even suggesting that. Let me invite you into this thought. If you were committed to advancing your career, to getting out of this low-level, low-paying job where you have no autonomy, no support, perhaps you could be in a higher-level role where you have more autonomy, more flexibility, and you're earning more money so you can prioritize mom's care, so that you can hire mom a home health aide, right? I'm not saying put yourself first. Maybe put mom first, but putting mom first might mean making more money. Putting mom first might mean finding and securing a higher level role. Putting your kids first might mean getting out of this job where you have to work 12 hours a day. and actually getting a higher level role where you can make more money and have more time and flexibility to spend with your family during weeknights and on weekends, right? I think that sometimes, when it comes to prioritizing your career, you're like, well, I just was never able to put myself first. But even if you aren't able to put yourself first, maybe put your kids first. That's fine. But you putting your kids first means that you can't stay in a job where you're only making $60,000 a year when your household budget requires 90. You're not putting your kids first if you are being underpaid at work, right? I'm seeing some hearts come up on the screen, so this sounds like this is resonating. Right. So I think that sometimes we're like, well, I don't want to be selfish. We struggle with self-worth and self-value, and we don't want to put ourselves first. But you actually earning more money, you actually having more autonomy at work, you actually having more flexibility, you actually doing meaningful work, actually in some ways may put your family first. Because it allows you to spend more time with them. It allows you to have more financial freedom and flexibility to be able to buy the things that your family needs, right? And so I really want to encourage you to shift your mindset around waiting your turn, because not only is waiting your turn not serving you, it's often not serving your family. It's not serving your children. It's not serving your partner, right? I did a live a while ago where I talked about some of the most challenging times in my relationship was when I hated my job, right? Some of the most challenging times in my relationship is when I hated my job, because I would come home and I'd be like, I hate this job. I hate my boss. She get on my nerves. All she do is, blah, blah, blah. And my partner would be like, oh, well, maybe you can try this. Well, that ain't gonna work. And, maybe she could say, I already tried that, right? Like I had an attitude. I was so unhappy. I was so miserable. And let me know if you can relate, right? Like, let me know if you've ever had any misdirected anger at your partner because you were mad about your boss. Let me know. Let me know if I'm not alone there. Feel free to just throw some hearts up on the screen if you're like, yes, girl, I can, strong relate. So it was causing real problems in my relationship because I was so angry with my partner. It was all misdirected, right? It was all misdirected. But I was angry because I was unhappy at work and I was frustrated at work and I felt like I was being looked over at work, which meant I was bringing those real problems home. And I was really actually angry about work, but it was misdirected to my partner. So me and him are bickering about something that's happening at work. It would have been great for me to prioritize my partner by finding and securing a new job, by managing up, by learning how to advocate for myself at work and speak up for myself at work and make sure that I'm building a meaningful relationship with the supervisor so I'm not stuck in a job that I hate. And that's the work that I did, right? It took me a while. Even your favorite career coach sometimes has, problems following her own advice. But, that's work that I really had to do, right? Like I had to remind myself that me putting my relationship first didn't just mean spending more time with my partner and looking into his eyes, but it meant learning how to advocate for myself at work, learning how to manage up at work, learning how to interrupt the terrible relationship that I and my supervisor had so that I didn't have to come home angry every evening, right? And I could have been like, well, I'm just going to wait until she retire. I'm going to just wait until she quit, or I'm just going to wait until I find a new job. But instead, right, I took a very proactive approach, which was reminding myself of the strategies I'm familiar with about managing up and applying those immediately. And for you, that interruption may be investing in yourself through career development, investing in yourself through a career coach. And so I really want to encourage you to stop waiting your turn at work. I think that the number one way I see women waiting their turn is around family, right? They're, as soon as the kids do this, as soon as my partner does this, as soon as I move, as soon as this, right? We're spending a lot of time waiting and with family. And to really prioritize your family, you may at the same time need to prioritize your career. It doesn't have to be one or the other, right? And in fact, you putting family first may mean that you need to invest in your career, because earning more money, having more flexibility, being less stressed at work, doing meaningful work so you can be happy when you come home would actually really benefit your family, right? That would really benefit your family. So that's strategy number one. I'm going to talk about one other, that's sort of scenario, I guess not strategy, but scenario number one. That's where I see a lot of women sort of waiting their turn. And I really want to invite you to, if you are put your family first motto or whether you put yourself first, both of those, you can also put your career first. Both of those you can do. So the second thing I wanted to talk about where I see a lot of women waiting is they're waiting on management, senior level leaders, their boss to do things for them to take action in their career. And let me share with you how this often comes up. I was just talking with someone today, and she was like, I've been serving as interim for a role at my institution for like 2 years, and I've never been compensated for it. And, I love the work. I'm passionate about the work. I'm not complaining, but I just feel like they don't value me and they don't see me because I've been doing this work for years and without being compensated. And I was immediately like, that is not okay. That's not right. Any work that you should do, you should be compensated for, interim or not, they should be paying you. And she's like, it's not even about the money. It's not even about the money. And I was like, but it is though. It is about the money. Like in any situation where you're like, it's not about the money and you are at work, where you are working somewhere where a place where it's earning money, where you are giving your time, talent, and expertise and you're not being compensated, that's a problem. Stop waiting your turn to be paid. Stop waiting your turn to be promoted. Stop waiting your turn to be acknowledged and seen and valued and respected at work. Stop waiting your turn. Those are things you can command now, right? And if you're not sure how to command it, let me mentor you, right? Because I'm here to help you command the things that you desire and, quite frankly, the things that you deserve at work, right? And I think that sometimes we take this Mother Teresa route at work. It's like, I'm just here to serve. I'm just here to help. Girl, we live in a capitalistic society. I don't know where you been, but socialism has not arrived. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, right? Before I die, we can shift. We can shift from capitalism. But today, in 2023, we're still working very much on a capitalistic model, which means that you should be compensated for the things that you are adding to your organization. If you are not, you got to stop waiting your turn. You got to stop waiting your turn, right? And so you might be wondering, Ashley, how do I advocate for myself? How do I speak up for myself? How do I do this? I'm going to host a live later this week where I'm specifically going to be talking about like how to actually drive action in your career, right? So how to actually, stop waiting on family and children and partners, and to stop waiting on your boss or your supervisor or senior leaders. I'm going to be hosting a live about that later this week. So make sure you have your post notifications turned on, because I'm going to be talking about that later this week and sort of talk about how to drive action in your career. But I want to just ring the alarm today, right? I'm here to ring the alarm that I really want to invite you to stop waiting your turn at work. And particularly if you've been waiting on your boss, your supervisor, senior leaders, HR to do something, I want to invite you to stop waiting, right? Today's the time to take action. Let's send that email. Let's follow up. Let's ask the second and third question, right? Let's invest in career development so that we can stop waiting our turn at work and actually get the support that we need. I'm accepting new mentees right now. So if you are a professional woman who works in corporate, nonprofit, or educational leadership, and you're looking for mentorship to support you in advancing your career this year, if it's a priority for you to find and secure a new job by March 1st, then the time for us to be working together is now, right? If it's a priority for you to find and secure a new role by March 1st, the time for us to be working together is now. I'm excited to serve you. I'm excited to help you find and secure a new role or advance the highest levels of leadership in your career. The first step in working with me is going right to my website at mentor-me.org. That's mentor-me.org. I'm looking forward to supporting you in your career development, and being a part of my mentorship programs is start to doing that really successfully this year. Again, go right to my website at mentor-me.org. Thanks so much for watching today's live. If it supported you, if you learned something in today's live, shoot me a DM and say, Ashley, I'm not waiting my turn. Let me know that this blessed you. Let me know if you heard something that resonated. Let me know if this sparked something in you. I want to hear that. Shoot me a DM and let me know, Ashley, I'm not waiting my turn anymore. That'll be a great opportunity and a kickstart to a conversation with you and I'd love to have that and just really continue to support you in not waiting your turn anymore. Again, thanks so much for watching. Talk soon. Bye.